Next up, we have PitchLIVE in collaboration with Hamilton Locke. Hamilton Locke have shortlisted 5 finalists to showcase new technologies in and around the insurance industry who are helping transform the insurance world. So I'd like to introduce Charmian Holmes to moderate this session.
Welcome everyone. It's our great privilege at Hamilton Locke to collaborate with Insurtech Australia again this year to present the pitch competition. One of the things we love to do at Hamilton Locke is work with insurance business owners. We love seeing them germinate an idea and grow that idea, and then we love to see them partnering with people in the industry and letting that idea flourish. And so we're very excited to present some of the talented finalists. We've got 5 fantastic finalists. They've all got some business ideas to showcase today for you. They've only got 5 minutes though, so they have to be really, really strategic about what they share with you. We've got some esteemed judges as well. We've got 3 judges on the panel. Kunal from Haast, who was our winner last year. We've also got Laura from Guidewire and Julie Hartley from Hamilton Locke. You will have an opportunity to vote, and you can vote through Slido, through the app for the conference, and your vote counts for a lot. So it's not just the esteemed judges that will decide our winners today. So we're going to have to be quick. We've got 5 minutes for each person. So I'd love you to give a warm welcome to Ian Tulloch from Lodgicl.
That's great, thanks very much. So yeah, I'm going to get the Oscars music in 5, but we've got all day and perhaps longer together, so come and hit me up if we need to. So hi, I'm Ian, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lodgicl. I'm also here today with Keith, he's our CTO and the other half of the co-founding team. So for home insurance claims, they hinge on assessments, and so that's the process where you've lodged your claim, a repairer comes and they're looking to look at the cause and the nature of the damage at your property, and most often they make a recommendation on whether what's happened is covered by your policy. Now this has been a bottleneck for a long time, frankly, and it's something that's under increasing scrutiny and pressure. I think Brian put it very well when we talk about the macro pressures in industry, certainly no different in this space. This is the bottleneck. Essentially, assessing is the really slim channel that sits between 1 million claims and 6 billion in repairs each year in Australia. And it's a bottleneck because it's a process that's manual at its core. And that's really not surprising. It's actually quite complex. The repairer's got a lot to do when they get to site. They've got to look at the causation, the nature of the damage. They're interpreting the policy for coverage. They're representing their brand as well as the insurers. And this is all against a backdrop of tight timelines, contractual KPIs, and increasing volatility in claims volume. The policies themselves, they're getting easier to understand as a consumer, but they're still really complex to navigate at assessing time, particularly when you consider repairers work across a multitude of different insurers, policy tiers, and products every day. So essentially what we're saying here is that assessing it's a process that's under pressure, but it's a process that's manual, which means it takes time, and that means that errors can creep in, and it also means that even when it's done correctly, it can still be the catalyst for issues downstream. Now, it's not to say that all assessments cause issues, they don't, that's not true, but the numbers are telling us it's becoming more frequent. So for claims that make it as far as AFCA, they're up 5x in the last 5 years. Now, a third of those relate to delays in the claims process itself, another third relate to the actual claims recommendation decision. And when these do end up in arbitration, they get overturned. Nearly half get overturned in favour of the policyholder, and that's just a poor experience for everybody involved. So essentially the takeaway here is that if we're trying to broaden this bottleneck and improve this picture here, we actually need to introduce both speed and accuracy into the assessment process. And that's what we've taken on at Lodgicl. So we've developed a technology that essentially allows assessments to be structured, policy-driven, and instant. Now we do that through our mobile app. That's a guided process for assessors to walk through the process and create a structured data set. Now that's important because although no 2 assessments are the same, the quality and detail and accuracy of the reports are, and that's really important. Now, whilst that's happening, at the same time, our back-end policy engine is viewing what's being assessed and it's matching it to the exact policy in play. Now, that means we can provide instant recommendations and instant insights into the policy itself. And importantly, this is work that would otherwise be done manually and later by the assessor. So what this means, as an assessor, when you're on site and you've finished, you can actually send your report straight away to the insurer, and this cuts down assessing time by 50%. So this means essentially by injecting policy intelligence into the assessing process, we can start to tackle those manual and problematic parts of it. We can actually start to move things through the hourglass a little better than we are today. This means repairers can actually focus on what they're good at. As the name suggests, that's repairs. What this really means is that quicker assessments means more capacity for assessing, more capacity for repairs, and that's top-line growth to them as a business. Within the app, a single workflow that caters for each policy and each insurer type means there's a happier UX and happier assessors in the field. Reports that are designed to be decision-centric means there are fewer clarifications, a lot less back and forth between insurers and repairers. That's a better working relationship as well as a lower cost to serve. Now, for insurers, this is all about high quality, high confidence, high speed claims decisions, and reports that are designed and the structures decision-centric do exactly that. There's also an interesting opportunity here from an insurer's perspective to look at policy and reg compliance. And what I mean by that is anything that impacts how the work is done in the field can actually be pushed straight to the assessors in real time via the platform. That's moving away from some of the legacy manual training, teething in periods and things like that that really increase the speed to implementation. For insured customers, or for the insurance company's customers, the policyholders, this means a couple of things. This is essentially anything from timely, specific communications post-assessment in terms of what to expect next, or using protocols within the app to actually identify customers that might need extra support or could otherwise be considered vulnerable. So for us at Lodgicl, this is not just about addressing today's concerns with the assessing industry. We believe that this technology will actually allow the next generation of modular, more personalized policies to come to market. So if you're an insurer, a repairer, or definitely an investor, and you want to come and talk to us, or you want to just chat about where this is going next in this particular pocket of industry, please come and see us. Thanks very much.
Please welcome our next finalist, Dan Novick from myVal.
I woke up to find my house flooded. The flood was devastating, but dealing with the insurance claim was even worse. The paperwork, the proof of payment, the documentation, it was overwhelming. After many weeks, too many weeks of waiting, the insurance company finally contacted me with good news. My claim had been approved. But then came the shock. My wife's favorite Persian rug was only covered for $1,000. I was frustrated. I had the highest possible sum insured. So how could this happen to me? Obviously, I complained, and they referred me to page 56 of the product disclosure statement. Who reads the product disclosure statement? Anyway, page 56 listed all the sub-limits, the limitations that the insurer will pay on items. And basically, in reading the sub-limits dealt with electronics, jewelry, sports equipment, collectibles, and woven rugs, my wife's Persian rug. And I realized then that half my house wasn't even properly covered. I was both overinsured and underinsured at the same time. I didn't even know it was possible to be overinsured and underinsured at the same time. I was paying a premium for inflated sum insured, and while losing money on high-value items not covered on the policy. So when you take out an insurance policy, it's your responsibility to provide an accurate insured value for your items. But who really knows what that value is? For most of us, gathering the data is time-consuming, it's overwhelming, and it leads to user apathy. It's not because we don't care, it's because it's very difficult to understand and estimate the actual value of your home contents or any contents. So underinsurance is a big problem, with most people assuming they will be adequately covered at the time of a claim. So that's why we created myVal. It's an AI-powered solution which simplifies documentation, valuation, and insurance management. We created an app that was simple to use, intuitive, and accessible to everyone. You just walk around your home, you take pictures of your valuables, and the app does the rest. The AI instantly identifies each item, and the AI today is amazing. It gives you a detailed description of the item, and it gives you an estimated market value of the item. The app can be tailored to interpret your specific insurance policy and highlight items exceeding policy sublimits both per item and per category. The app rates your proof of ownership and stores the metadata for ease of claims. And quite important, the app recalculates your sum insured every year and securely puts all this data into a virtual vault. So accurate records lead to better coverage. By starting your insurance journey with accurate records and the right sum insured, you eliminate surprises. Claims are processed faster, payouts and replacement happen on time. Both you and your insurer can establish a long-term relationship built on trust. It's our official launch today. We're introducing myVal to the market. The home content app is now live, and I encourage you all to download it. We're working on a business and a travel version of the app at the moment. So accurate records, better coverage, real peace of mind. Download our app, it's a free app, and come and talk to us at our booth. Thank you.
Our next finalist is Jeremy Liebman from Powour.
Hi everyone, Jeremy Liebman, co-founder and CEO of Powour. So Powour's the platform that's turning movement into value. Now I was going to say part two of Brian's talk, thank you for preempting, but I think that the value of turning understanding risks, looking at risks differently, preventing risk, I think is a critical component in terms of our enabled technology. So before I tell you how Powour works, I'm going to introduce you to Emma. So Emma is 26 years old. She works in the city. She's tech savvy. She's very conscious about her health. She's conscious about her footprint, and she's also very financially conscious. She owns a car, but she loves to experience her city using public transport and actually commuting around on her bicycle. So what's driving Emma? This morning, Emma wakes up. She looks at her Powour app, and first thing she sees, she's hit a 52-day streak of her hours of power, which means that 52 days in a row that she has accumulated at minimum an hour of healthy, sustainable movement. So that endorphin hits, and that's better than a cup of coffee. She's then earned $20 for her next grocery shop, care of her health insurer, and that keeps on coming. As she starts to move on her commute, she gets a new alert to say, join a new join a 14 days and a car-free 14 days and earn extra points from your car insurer. So the car insurers are coming to the party as well, and she's in. At lunchtime, Emma checks her workplace Powour app, and she sees she's at the top of the leaderboard. She's in first place. Nothing like a little healthy competition, not to mention the coffee voucher she receives, all because she hit her target activity score. So by the end of the day, Emma has saved real money. She's feeling energized by her consistency of activity, and she's cut nearly 9 kilograms from her carbon emissions over the course of that week, all while staying engaged with her insurance providers. So Powour is making insurance more than just a payment. It's making it a payback for consumers like Emma. So Emma lives in a world where transport accounts for almost 20% of global emissions. It's the fastest growing source of emissions, projected to be the biggest source of emissions by 2030. But yet, mobility insurance still focuses on how a car moves and mileage. So that's where, what happens if insurers actually could change and incentivize people to drive less, choose greener transport options, increase their level of activity, and reduce risk at the same time? And that's exactly what Powour enables. So we're not an insurer, we're an enabler. How do we integrate movement, including healthy, active, and sustainable movement, into how products are designed and priced? Where customers are rewarded for choosing public transport, for choosing cycling, for choosing active transport, for choosing EV ride shares over just jumping into the car as the first choice. So instead of tracking vehicles, Powour tracks movement patterns, helping insurers understand, influence, and reward low-risk, sustainable transport choices, and becoming that bridge between risk products and mobility as a service. So how do we drive and how do we integrate with our insurers? Well, number one, we're tracking real-world mobility behaviors. We understand and we can visualize how customers and policyholders are moving during the course of their day. We understand the geospatial mapping of that movement, and whether they're, how they're driving, how they're taking public transport, how they're cycling, and how we can incentivize change. We're integrating behavior-based rewards to incentivize smarter, lower-risk mobility choices with gamification, with rewards, and with incentives. And most importantly, we're providing real-time insights into how your consumers and how your policyholders are moving. Not only in terms of their emissions, but the reduction of their emissions, but what levers are working in terms of driving changing behaviors. So it isn't purely about pricing. It's about creating dynamic, future-proof insurance products that drive real behavioral change. So what are we offering to our insurance partners? How do we help them integrate our solution to lower risk? Less driving means fewer claims and safer policyholders. More active policyholders means lower claims and healthier policyholders. Using rewards and incentives to drive engagement. How do you actually you're changing the experience and the relationship with your policyholders and the insurer? And most importantly, bringing sustainability targets to life. Understanding the real impact of your consumers and how you're driving change through real-world challenges such as reducing and eliminating emissions. Also helping them integrate new revenue streams in terms of looking at mobility across the line, not purely at the asset, but looking at mobility as a service. So insurers, we believe, helping insurers become leaders in sustainability revolution and actively shaping actively shaping our future in sustainability, not just reacting to it. So we at Powour believe that sustainability in insurance is no longer optional. It's a business imperative. We're helping our partners move beyond the sustainability on a page statements to actually turn commitments into measurable action. So let's work together to launch the next generation of insurance products, where risk is reduced, customers are engaged, and sustainability sits at the core of the way we design and price products. The future of insurance isn't just about risk, it's about reward. And let's make insurance a force of positive change. I look forward to speaking to you later. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next finalist is Jasmine Flory-Hess from Raindrop. Please welcome her to the stage.
First of all, thank you, Hamilton Locke and Insurtech Australia, for having us today to pitch in front of such a valuable audience. Let's jump right in. Just some thoughts on snippets. 3 hours reading. I can say then some people are reading PDSs. Responsible AI for product offering. And industry lacks standardization in terminologies. Let's be honest, these statements in various industry reports and our internal survey don't surprise anyone in this room. We believe it all comes down to the sheer volume and complexity of the PDSs. And that's why we created Raindrop. We had one morning the epiphany that what if we can create a very simple way to show insurance policies? And that happened right when I checked the weather forecast. And so this is as well very complex data that gets distilled into something that everyone can understand. And that's how we created Raindrop as our brand. We distill sheer volume into something very simple and give you clarity. Raindrop is an AI-powered software specializing in decoding and analyzing policy wordings. Just that. That's our core of our company. We structure complex policy wordings and put them into a consistent format. And this is what we believe is very important, to start this messy data into a very clear structured information. And with that, we do semantic analysis, get some symbolic key terms, similarities and differences, and show that to the user in a very intuitive platform, our dashboard. And Neptune, our bot, gives you instant answers, policy-specific answers that are helping you, supporting you in your everyday to get instant answers in plain English. So a little bit, what's our secret? It really is. Yeah, what's our secret? So we have built our own industry-specific AI model, trained on actuarial and data science principles. And unlike other generic models that are available currently and popping up like mushrooms, we believe that we know that our model knows the nuances of insurance terminologies. But that's not what sets us apart. What we do, really is it? What we do, ladies and gentlemen, sets us apart because we take the industry experts and let them check what the AI model creates. And this combination gives you peace of mind because it's accurate and you can believe it and trust it. It's not a black box that magically happens. And thirdly, we want to say that we are an independent platform. We are unbiased and not in any relationship with any other insurance carriers. A little bit about ourselves. Our company, the idea came in 2021 when I was at the time living in Switzerland, being part of an NLP working group with some rather large global insurance carriers that are based in Switzerland. And they wanted to figure out how this new technology can help the Swiss insurance market. And I did some more research, came back home to Australia. Yes, I still have an accent, but home is Australia, and incorporated Raindrop in 2023, found immediately an amazing collaborator, a broker that wanted to do a MVP with us solely on cyber insurance, because for him, it was the most complex, latest and newest policy wording, which we did. We then launched our SaaS last year and are growing steadily. We have a serious amount of customers, very solid number. Out of a third, we have gained as early adopters. These are in close contact with our technology team. They give feedback. They're the experts checking what the model creates. And we are very grateful for wonderful partnerships that help us spread the news that Raindrop brings clarity to the insurance market. A little bit about ourselves. If you want to know more about myself or Sam, our business development manager, you can come to the booth. But I think the core of our company is really Steve. He's a seasoned machine learning specialist for over 20 years of experience. Out of 10 years, he was at Microsoft, and he knows how to incorporate economically working, solid, high-quality AI. He did that for Microsoft for 10 years in a variety of companies, and we're very lucky to have him and the entire team here on shore in Australia, which makes us very proud. Now, we are creating an enabler, an enabling tool that brokers, carriers, underwriters, lawyers currently are using to save time, to reduce professional indemnity risk, and as well to gain that trust again that we just heard before when you don't get a claim. It shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't happen anymore. And that's why I ask you, take out your cameras. It's not rude. You can take a photo, scan, and access clarity with Raindrop. Thank you very much.
Okay, our last finalist is ImpairEX. Please welcome Dan Tran to the stage.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Brian for the beautiful message. It resonated loudly, and it resonated even louder for the worker compensation area. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dan Tran. I'm an occupational physician. I'm ecstatic to share with you my lifelong work on a major problem in the worker compensation system. If you imagine a worker travel in a vehicle and both of them had an accident, the vehicle was fixed way before the patient. Why is that when we have the most advanced medical system in Australia? At half the revenue, 15 billion, 2% premium similar, much lesser claim, the worker compensation has got a much more longer claim duration, about 10 times disputation and legal costs, and also significant mental health problem for the patient, the case manager, the doctors, everyone in the stakeholder. It's a zero profit system that's costing us 29 billion a year. We've got plenty of data on the system. However, they're not live. And if you want to look at February 25, you have to wait till 26 or 27. And that unexpectation is certainly costing the system. For the vehicle industry, the liability is determined fairly early on. At the repairer, where the damaged parts is then feed into a national system or Clear 21, and you get a beautiful report on the liability. In the worker compensation system, that's done 3 years down the track. At the very end, when the compensation or lump sum compensation is due, that leaves the case manager a lot of uncertainty and resulting in significant amount of independent medical examination, which are costly and often also in disputation in the court system. The inherent requirement, so the inherent problem are really with the AMA 5 guides. 5 is the middle one that Australia uses a lot. There's 4, and then there's the Perth one that's 6. It came from America, and of course widely used in America, but it's also well recognised around the world. The first edition started in 1971, and we've been using that endlessly. It's a manual process of where doctor do the examination, feed it into the references to body damage charts in the book, and then more conversion table and fairly complicated calculation process. It's quite tedious. It can take an hour or 2 to actually calculate body damage, followed by dictation, administration. So the process can take 1 hour for a short version or a whole day to get a draft report. Unfortunately, there's no solution yet. In 2008, as a registrar, I attempted, but technology was not available. 2012, I put 1 day aside for the next 10 years, not 10 years, but week, and transformed the manual process of the AMA American system, but also the local guidelines for every single state. We convert that into formulation, and in 2022, I was able to place that onto the cloud server and effectively made an Australian-New Zealand impairment language model where we can ping it with history, examination finding, and diagnosis. And out of that, in 2.5 seconds, we get a complete Australian report and a New Zealand report. It's no replacement to the guides, but making reference and etc. for the doctor to proofread and confirm the diagnosis. Along with that, we get live data as well. I'll speak a bit more on that a bit later. It takes around a second for data transportation and encryption. So overall, it's less than 5 seconds to get the report done. And every hour that takes, regardless how many body parts we send in, it's still less than 5 seconds. So every hour that the doctor saves, it's about 1,000 times quicker. It's non-AI, the language model. It has got 0 hallucination and is perfectly safe for law and medical legal practice. So if there's any law change, we hard code the impairment model. So that really helped doctors to finalise and complete their report at the very end very quickly. However, to help with the whole process of the worker compensation system, luckily I had the support of Professor Tam Nguyen at St Vincent Hospital, Mr Tam Phan, owner of PTN Global, who's got 300 IT engineers in Vietnam, along with clinical governance, IT advisor, IT finance tech advisor, and a whole team of 18 IT engineers in Vietnam. We've been working full-time for the past 3 years, self-funded. We've created a national injury examination system where the case manager can log on online, can refer to work, can track the work. We have a national system of nurses, physio, doctor, specialists, who then can grab this work, make a booking. We also have AI-assisted nurse teleconsultation assisted by CoView. For the first time, case manager can now get a damage estimation report where the doctor entered examination finding into the system then generate a report. So now we have an estimation and a final damage compensation. So then we can do analysis. And there's, as you heard before, there are many tools. We also simplify the accounting through our automation process. One invoice for all the work and allow online payment, and that will simplify the administration process. To help the worker, we're creating a platform called Injury Book, where patient can now record the injury history, record and save and share their tests and diagnosis, and they can quickly share that with other people. What's also coming is a form for the supervisor employer to also share and work uniting the system. I'll leave you with a last message because I'm up for time. Change the way you look at things and things will change. I did 13 years ago.
Thank you
Sorry.
so much.
I ran out of time.
Okay, so you do have a little bit of time to vote. We'll be announcing the winners closer to the end of the day.
Thank you, Charmian, and to all the pitches there. That was great.